Hello, my fellow book nerds and fangirls, and today I will be discussing the 4th episode of Season 8 of Vampire Diaries. Now, I apologize for last week that I did not discuss the 3rd episode of Vampire Diaries. I watched it with my best friend. We were supposed to do a video together, but because of conflicting schedules that we have at work, we couldn't really do it together before the new episode. We had one day off together, and we went to go see Doctor Strange instead. And fantastic movie, by the way. I would definitely suggest going to see it. Because Benedict Cumberbatch, sexy. I think that's something we could all agree on. But getting back to Vampire Diaries, this episode really wasn't that bad. It surprised me in a few aspects. It was still kind of like a really episode because I don't like the direction it's going. Like last week, I'm gonna touch base on a few things that annoyed me in last week's episode because I didn't get to discuss last week's episode. So one thing that I did not like about last week's episode is, of course, discussing the Sterilline wedding. I'm starting to be okay with them a little bit. Not as much as people would want me to be okay with them, but at the same time, I'm still not on this ship. I think they went way too fast for how long they've actually been together, which, if you actually really count it, has only been like 3 or 4 months in actual relationship form, which is a little too early to get married, but they've known each other for years, so I guess it's fine. They've been friends for years, they know each other, they've complained about Damon and Elena's relationship to each other, so that is just something I like to say. Another thing that I like to complain about is Sybil in last episode. I started to really like her a little bit, mostly because of what Bonnie did, but we'll discuss what Bonnie did because this is the thing that annoyed me the most with this episode is Bonnie's decision. But Sybil, she actually had a really good joke in there, and I really love it, and it's awesome because what happened was she was talking about how sexy Damon was because, of course, I can't lie, Damon is like the sexiest thing ever, and Ian Somerhalder knows it. Ian Somerhalder knows he's hot, but I love the line, "You cannot spell Damon without damn," and I'm just over here like, that is actually the best line in Vampire Diaries ever. But another thing that I really loved what Sybil did in the last episode, it has something to do with tied into my decision. So all of last episode, Sybil was trying to convince Bonnie to make a decision between Damon and Enzo and who's damned to hell and who she could save. So she's supposed to make the decision between Enzo and Damon. And in the end, she picks Enzo. And while I understand why she picked Enzo, there is things that I think she was super ungrateful for. And I wanted to address because there was a person that put a question up that said, why would she ever choose Damon over Enzo? Oh, I don't really know. Maybe because if we rewind back to season 6 to when Elena was in her Sleeping Beauty coma, we'll truly get that Elena wouldn't have been in a Sleeping Beauty coma to begin with if Damon had chose to let Bonnie die. But did Damon choose to let Bonnie die? No, he decided to keep Elena in a magical coma for as long as Bonnie wanted to live. Because, like Elena said to Damon, I knew the love of my life would choose his best friend over me, even if it meant living without me for a little while. And that is who Damon is. Damon didn't have to save Bonnie from Kai, didn't have to save her from dying, but he did. And I thought maybe Bonnie would take that into at least a little bit of consideration, seeing as how 3 years ago she hated Enzo to begin with. I get it. You fell in love with him. I would personally personally not forgive myself if I chose my best friend over him, but whatever. Bunny's decision is Bunny's decision. But personally, I would have liked her to at least spend a little bit of time. I get that the repercussions were a little bit of constricting for her, but at the same time, you just damned Damon, a guy you have known for like maybe guessing via timeline 6 to 7 years, maybe 9 at this point. I don't know, but you've known him for close to 9 years, and you've known Enzo for like maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4. For 1 year of which you truly despised his guts. Damn, you even decapitated his hand once, woman. I'm just over here like, what? But it is what it is. And there were a few jokes, like Sybil saying you can't say Damon without damn, which was really funny. And I do love Sybil after that, when we thought she was gonna kill Damon, and she just looks at Bonnie and says, wow, you really made the most fucked up choice over here. And I like how she brought that to Bonnie's attention, because Damon is anything, because she states that Damon's like really loyal, and in a matter of speaking, whoever Damon decides to line his alliance with, he is kind of loyal to people. Unless they screw him over, he's just fucking with them. But, whatever. So I started to like Sybil a little bit in that episode, and then we get to this episode. So we're going into this episode right here. Steven and Alark are questioning Sybil, who is now in the armory. And I would also like to address that Damon killed Tyler in the last episode, which I hate, because now there is no other way to redeem Damon except killing him, and that really pisses me the fuck off. But I knew it was probably gonna happen. I'm literally preparing myself for the death of one of my favorite characters in fiction ever, but I will deal with it if it happens. But until then, I really hope they don't kill off Damon. But another thing that really irks me about this season, we'll get to this episode in a minute, another thing that really irks me about this season is the fact that Damon is the villain, and I don't know why they're trying so hard to rip apart everything he's tried to accomplish. Like, they have tried to character build Damon since season 2 of the Vampire Diaries. And season 1, it's okay, but why would we even bother humanizing Damon if we're just gonna rip him apart in the last season? I mean, come on, can't you make someone else evil for a change? Why Damon? But, it is what it is, whatever. Okay. So back to the episode in general. They have Sybil locked in the armory. We get to see Sybil's background story. I'm going to talk more about the characters because I don't want this to be like a really super long video like most of mine are. But we'll talk about Sybil for a moment. We find out a lot of things about Sybil's past because this is actually a flashback episode featuring Sybil and a sister that we never knew she had. And in this episode, we find out who Sybil's sister really is, which I thought at first, I'm all like, okay, I knew there was probably a connection between the nanny and Sybil from the beginning. I don't know why this nanny would pop up in the storyline if she wasn't super important to the storyline, because, guest characters, unless they're dying, they don't really pop back into the story whatsoever. So whenever we saw the nanny, I knew there was something up with this chick. I just knew it. I didn't really think that Georgie was Sybil's sister, because, Sybil's sister compelled Georgie to go free Sybil from the armory, and we find out in this episode that Sybil's sister is Celine, Alarc's nanny who has been watching his children, and I'm just over here like, holy shit, I saw that coming, but I didn't really think that they were gonna pull that, but I was so surprised. So we find out that Celine is in fact Sybil's sister. They're not really technically blood related. What happened was that Sybil showed psychic abilities in her village, and in her village psychic abilities were forbidden. So what they did was exiled her to an island where she met this other girl who happened to be called Celine. So they go to they're in this island, and one day she tells Sybil to call to the ship, and what happens is that she isn't telling Sybil what she's doing. She isn't telling Sybil that they're actually feasting on the flesh of dead sailors to stay alive. And instead of them being like Wendigos, like I said they probably were going to be, it actually interprets Wendigo mythology in it too, because Wendigos also have to feast on human flesh, but when they do, they turn into something uglier, which I don't know. I guess sirens also have that mythology, only it's backwards. If they don't eat human flesh, they can't stay beautiful. They turn into these really ugly creatures, and I'm just over here like, okay, that makes sense a little bit. This tale was a little bit confusing, but I still got the vast majority of it. And one thing that was really interesting about Sybil's story is how she decided to tie it in with Steven and Damon's story. Steven was trying to tell her, well, what's done is done. Me and Damon have gone past that part of our history. And Sybil brings it to his attention that maybe Damon hasn't been as forward as Steven might think when it comes to that. Maybe Damon has not forgiven Steven for turning him into a vampire, and I get it. I mean, for how evil Damon is becoming now, and how his life isn't going the way he wants it to go, and obviously, Damon doesn't really want to live at this moment. I don't think he isn't who he thinks he is. His mind is getting warped. I could get Damon thinking that. I mean, come on. And I do love how Sybil's all like, so who are you? Are you the island girl or the village girl? To Steven. And she tells him, are you the guy who came back to Mystic Falls, fell in love only to have his brother ruin it for him? Or are you the guy who took away his brother, who forced his brother into a life he did not want to have in the first place? And I'm just over here like, damn, Sybil is actually making a whole lot of sense right now. She's putting Steven in his place because I don't really think Steven has really thought of the repercussions of his actions when it came to turning Damon into a vampire. And I like how she addresses that, because Steven and Damon, we touch base on it on season 1 a little bit. It seemed like Damon and Steven have gone past it, but you don't really forgive someone for that, I don't think. And Elena made it easier on Damon to accept the fact that he was a vampire, but now that Elena is not here and he doesn't have memories of Elena to get past what his brother did to him, and now he thinks him and Elena are over, which I'm still confused about. I thought Sybil erased her entirely from his memory. I thought Sybil made it to where Elena had died in Damon's memory, but the show writers obviously didn't really think of these plot holes that they're leaving out, like the fact that Damon should not know who Elena is. Like, every time someone mentions Elena, Damon should not know who Elena is, but Damon still knows who Elena is. He just thinks that she's like this really bad ex who it didn't work out with, which I'm thinking if Sybil has erased Elena Gilbert from Damon's vocabulary, but she hasn't erased Catherine. I think what she did is probably put Elena in Catherine's place, which is my theory, because Damon hates Catherine, and now it seems like he hates Elena. So that way, Damon isn't really confused when she comes. He knows her, but he doesn't really know her. He doesn't really know the side of him that loved her, because that's replaced with Sybil, and now he thinks him and Sybil are done also. And I'm just over here, like, really confused about what's going on in Damon's head. I at least need an episode of what's going on in Damon's head right now, like, how badly it's messed up, been a jumbled mess in there, because everything that they're sprouting off is confusing. It really is. Another part, I'm really glad that they didn't show Bonnie or Enzo in this, because I'm still pissed at Bonnie for her decision last week. I'm glad they didn't show a lot of Caroline. They only showed her for, like, maybe a couple minutes. This was mostly based on Damon, Steven, Sybil, and Celine, and Alark, because Alark was more like a background story. You have Alark, and he's with Steven until Celine locks him in the whatever they're called, the tombs down underneath the armory. He finds his way out by literally stabbing his ear so he can't hear anything, and then goes up a main pipeline to the city square of Mystic Falls, where I guess that is how Damon and Enzo got out in the first place. I don't know how they didn't discover that the very first episode they were in, but whatever. I guess they were distracted by sirens and other stuff to really get what was really going on there and really exploring the tombs like they should have in the first place. But another thing that happened was, of course, with Sybil and her sister. Celine tries to free Sybil, and I love how Sybil just tells her to screw up. Like, she asked Georgie, why haven't you brought my sister to me? Because obviously she wants Sybil with her so they could create chaos together. And Sybil really just told her sister to screw off, and I kind of like it. I kind of get why Sybil likes Damon now, because they both have siblings that kind of screwed them over in a way. But let me stop by saying that I like Steven way more than I like Celine. And at least Steven tries to right his wrongs, while Celine doesn't try to right her wrongs. And yeah, that's my way of thinking about it. Steven is no longer my least favorite character, but we'll get to that in a minute. So after Georgie has told Celine all this, Celine decides to kill Georgie, and then feast upon her flesh, and it's really gross. But another thing that is happening that I am gonna lightly touch base on because it is essential to this episode, is that Damon is trying to find this artifact that he's probably gonna bring to Sybil, but I don't know if Celine will intercept him or not, and I don't know what this thing does, but it is a Maxwell family tradition, and what we found out was that Matt is actually a part of the Maxwell family lineage, and I'm just like, oh my god, he is? That would explain his hatred for vampires, but, we meet Matt's dad, who turns out to be Peter Maxwell, and I'm just over here like, really? Oh my god. Oh my god, are you serious right now? He's in Maxwell. But that's surprising to me, and of course his dad is all out of the loop in the Maxwell family line. He doesn't get what's going on, so what's going on when Damon tries to kill him for his heirloom. Matt saves him by making him drink an unconscious Damon's blood, tries to get Damon to confess why he's doing these things, and tells him that he killed Tyler instead, and then we just find out that Tyler really is actually dead, and that makes me sad because, you know, I was hoping Damon didn't kill Tyler. I was hoping we didn't have anything that he wouldn't come back from. But honestly, right now, I think it is better to kill Damon off. He is still my favorite character throughout the whole series. But it wouldn't make sense for him to actually live. And the next promo, don't even talk about how bad. I don't want to even talk about how badly that one breaks my heart. I am not gonna like the episode coming home was a mistake. I already know I'm not probably gonna like that. But you know, I know as long as he kills Damon, Damon probably won't be off the series. We'll probably get to see what hell actually is for Damon. I know Ian Somerhalder is probably gonna stick around until the end of the show, and I'm really excited for that. Can't wait to see that. And yeah, I really like it. I think this is going to be a really interesting next episode. I really want to know what your thoughts are on the season so far. So far, I don't really like it. I really hate I really think Evil Damon is personally sexy, but at the same time, I hate how they try to make Damon evil almost every time. If you're gonna keep trying to make Damon evil, maybe you should actually not try and make Damon good. Good in some parts, and it's just like, oh my god. But another thing I like to touch base on is the fact that we got to personally meet who the devil was. Who's gonna be the devil in this thing, and his name is Articus, and I can't wait to learn more about Articus, actually, aka Cain. Which I'm like, okay, this is actually gonna be really fun. I think it's really gonna be really different, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. Maybe we could have a little snippy banter between Cain and Damon a little bit. We could see what happens, and I don't know what's happening next, and I can't wait to figure out, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!